The Anycubic Kobra 3 V2 just released. Is it better than the A1 or A1 Mini like they claim? We're about to find out on the 3D Printing Zone. 2 weeks ago, if you were to ask me, what is the best 3D printer for beginners? What is the easiest printer? What is a printer you can just open up on your phone and send prints to? I would have said, I've had this printer for the last 2 weeks, and I have to say I'm blown away by the results for the price of this printer. Let's open it up and check it out. Unboxing and setting up this printer was super easy. The instructions were clear, and there were only 10 screws total. 6 or 7 years ago, you had to pretty much build and screw in every single screw for the printer, so I will take 10 screws any day. Most of this printer was already assembled. It comes with the tools to attach the screws, but I use this electric driver to make assembly even faster. The size of the print bed is 255 by 255 by 260 millimeters. The hotbed can reach up to 110 degrees, and the nozzle can get up to 300 degrees Celsius. This printer supports PLA, TPU, PETG, and ABS, and it can print up to 600 millimeters per second, which is pretty typical today. This printer comes with a camera, but not the camera mount. Luckily, they have a file for it, so that will be our first print. That came out looking really good. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that we always print a Benchy as one of the first tests. So let's try that first. That came out looking really good. There's a little bit of stringing, but the bridging looks amazing. The walls look great. I don't see any under extrusion. The automated bed leveled this thing perfectly. I have no complaints about this Benchy, and it finished it in under 15 minutes. That's really good. The next thing I printed was the torture toaster test. I've printed this on the A1 Mini, on the Elegoo Neptune 4 Plus. The 3 things I look for in this test is bridging, tolerance, and ghosting. The bridging came out looking very clean. The top right has a little bit of sagging, but besides that, it looks really good. Now with the tolerance test, it did a really good job with 0.4. I wasn't able to move anything below 0.4, and it looks like 0.5 got messed up and I can't move 0.5, but that's not because of the tolerance, that's more because of that issue at the top. If we compare that to the Neptune 4 Plus, the left side of the toaster did not do as well, where the right side, the Neptune 4 Plus, did a little better. And the bridging on the A1 Mini came in at last place, where the left side and the right side at that 80-degree angle didn't have as clean of a bottom. The tolerance test on the A1 Mini failed completely. I should print this again just to make sure, but something got knocked off the bed and 0.3 through 0.5 just didn't even print. The last thing I wanted to check was the ghosting, or that after effect when it prints something. Does it have those waves on the print? This printer does come with vibration compensation, which means before the beginning of the print, it will vibrate back and forth. It will have the bed vibrate back and forth and detect vibrations to know how to compensate for that. On this print, I can't see any vibration or ghosting afterwards. However, I did see a little bit on the Benchy right after that ring. And that's pretty common on the Benchy for many of my printers. The gears on the toaster work really well for each printer. And the last thing to check is, does the toast pop up? Yay! The next thing I want to check is how well does it do printing to its max height. So I'll just pop in a cylinder and drag it up to 260 millimeters. That came out looking so clean. There's no Z-banding at all. It just looks so clean. Now I printed this right out of the box without changing any settings. I would probably go back and see if I can make the Z seam disappear. It is pretty obvious on this print, but that's typical for a cylinder. You're just going to have a seam there. There are ways to hide that seam a little better, but when I look at the bottom of this to the top, I really can't tell the difference in quality, which is pretty amazing. So it can print a toaster, a Benchy, a a cylinder. What about something that's more intricate and something that's multicolor? Take this little Santa Claus. I'll try printing this one from the app. Well, I ran out of the red silk and I thought I had more, but I don't. I could order more, it would take a couple days to get here, but instead of doing that, I'm going to add some red and black silk filament and see how that looks. That actually came out looking really good. It kind of looks like he has a different color coat, which wasn't planned at all, but I really love it. You can see the back is black, the front is like a darker red. It looks like he's wearing a coat, and it gives me 5 colors where I should only be able to do 4 with one Ace Pro. This looks amazing. I couldn't be more happy with it. The Z-seam is hidden so well, the only place you can see it is near the bottom. In just a minute, I'm going to talk about the pros of this printer, the cons, and talk about the pros and cons of the Ace Pro, and then we'll compare it to the A1, the A1 Mini, and the AMS Lite, and see how they compare in pricing, quality, and just my overall experience. The next thing I want to print will be 260 millimeters tall and multicolor. Let's print this casual stormtrooper. By the way, everything that I'm printing is free, and you can find the links in the description. This came out looking so good. I love the model, the print quality, and I'm very impressed with this printer. I did notice some ringing at the very top, and I noticed the face doesn't have as good quality as the shoes or the pants, and I'm wondering if that's because it's at the very top where it's wobbling back and forth. Let me try printing this again on a Core XY printer where the bed is not moving back and forth and see if that helps with the quality. Okay, so that did help. It came out looking perfect, but it's not a fair comparison. Not only was this printed on a Core XY 3D printer, but it was printed on one that's over $2,000, so I would assume it would have better quality. I'll try printing it one more time on a different bed slinger that's about the same price as this one. Now this bed slinger only has one color, so this is what you get. But it came out really good. I think that quality at the top is still a little better than the Anycubic, but I also used a different white colored filament that's meant for faster speeds. I will try printing again on the Anycubic with a single color at high speeds and a material that's meant for high speeds. That came out looking a lot better. Lesson learned, use higher quality PLA for printing faster prints. Well, we've had some fun. We've printed some things. Let's talk about the pros and cons of this printer, and then we'll talk about the pros and cons of the Ace Pro. When it comes to cost, this printer is one of the cheapest printers that can do multicolor on the market today. It also has mobile printing, which means you can pull up their app and you can find models online and send them to your printer. More and more companies are starting to adopt this, but this is a huge benefit for Anycubic, and it puts them right up there with Bambu Lab, having a mobile app that you can print from. A couple more things that I love about the mobile app is it shows you your time to finish, so you know what to expect, and it also has that progress bar that goes across your phone screen. And if it ever has any issues, if there's a clog in the filament, it will alert you and you can see that on your phone. Out of the 25 plus printers that I've owned, only a handful of them have phone alerts, so that's a pro to me. A couple other things worth mentioning for the pros: it has great cooling, automatic bed leveling, a live camera feed, and it includes the camera, which again at this cost, that's pretty good. And the last thing to mention is it's quiet, but the fan is always on. And that brings us to the first con. This printer's quiet. When it's running, the motors are quiet. You can hear the fans going, but when a print finishes, the fans don't turn off. The cooling fan turns off, obviously, but the fans underneath the printer continue to run nonstop. I have some older printers where that's the case still, and so I just turn them off when I'm done. Another con to this printer is when you have the printer and the Ace Pro next to it, it takes up a ton of space. I have seen people 3D print a mount that goes on top of the printer, so that is an option and it does clean up some of that space, but whether that's a safe and stable option is up for you to judge. A lot of printers I own have the insulation underneath the bed. This one didn't come with it, but I didn't have any issues with parts sticking to the bed or parts peeling off, so maybe they realize it doesn't really do much and it's not a big deal. Now let's talk about the Ace Pro or the Anycubic Color engine. If you look at the A1 or the A1 Mini and you compare that to this printer, they're very similar, and we'll talk more about them in just a little bit. But when you compare the Ace Pro to the AMS Lite, it's night and day difference. The number one difference is the Ace Pro is enclosed and comes with a heater, where the AMS Lite is not enclosed, does not come with a heater, which means the filament can be more susceptible to humidity. With the Ace Pro or the Anycubic Color engine, you can heat up the internal temperature to 55 degrees Celsius. And you can run that for hours and hours and hours, which means this is not just a filament holder and a color engine, but it's a filament dryer as well. Similar to the AMS Lite, you can have a color backup, which means if you have two of the same color, maybe 3 or 4, and you have a bunch of spools that just have a little bit left that you want to use up, you can put them in each of the slots, and then as one runs out, it'll default to the next one and default to the next one. I printed out a smaller Stormtrooper using multiple spools of just little bits of filament. That's nice because instead of throwing away the little bit that's left on that filament, over time those will build up and you can have a multicolored print that's just kind of random, I guess. If you buy filament from Anycubic, it will come with an RFID chip, which means when you place that filament inside of the filament dryer, the Ace Pro, it will detect that color similar to the AMS Lite. Something I like about the Ace Pro is it has a flat top, which means you could stack two of these on top of each other, where other multi-material systems cannot be stacked. So when you look at it, the Ace Pro is a filament holder, filament dryer, filament backup, and multicolor engine all in one. And if we're comparing this to Bambu Lab products, I would say this might be better than the AMS2 Pro because not only does it heat up the filament, but it can keep heating while printing. The AMS2 Pro can't do that today. In fact, that brings us to the pros. The first one is it can heat, but not just heat, it can heat while printing. The second one, which I absolutely love, is you only need one hand to load this filament. With other systems that I've used, you need one hand to push the button and the other hand to feed the filament through. This one doesn't have any buttons to push. You just put it in, it detects it, and it automatically starts pulling it through. That's a huge pro to me. I've already mentioned some of the pros. It's stackable. It can be used as a filament backup if one of your filaments run out. But something else that I really love about this, which allows me to keep it right here in my office, is it's very quiet. The AMS and the AMS2 Pro are very loud, and if I'm on a work call and they are switching out colors, it sounds like someone's whining in the background. The Ace Pro is so quiet, I can't even hear it running when it's next to the printer. One reason why it's quiet is because it is slow, but unlike the AMS and the AMS2 Pro, it has 4 tubes that go right up to the nozzle, kind of like the AMS Lite, which means it's only moving filament about this much at one time, so you don't hear this sound every time there's a filament change. It being slow could be viewed as a con, but it hasn't really bothered me. Something that does bother me is the space the Ace Pro needs behind it. I kept getting these alerts that the filament was getting tangled. The tube in the back was hitting the wall, which means those sensors on the back of the Ace Pro weren't able to push out and detect the pressure that it was putting towards the nozzle. To fix this issue, I just pulled it forward a little bit and those were able to move again. Someone printed a mount that goes on top so you can have the Ace Pro up there and you won't have any issues, but I might look at a different mount that's a little more stable. The last thing to mention when you're comparing this to the AMS or the AMS Pro is there isn't a reading for humidity levels, at least from what I can tell. It shows you the temperature and you can turn that up, you can turn it down, but there's no way to quickly and easily see the humidity inside of the chamber. The AMS Lite doesn't even have anything like that, and that's what we're really comparing this to as far as pricing goes, but it would be nice to have those humidity levels in a newer version. Now it's time to compare these two printers side by side. We've talked a little bit about the differences, and I'll highlight those again, but when it comes down to it, which one would I spend my money on? Quick disclaimer. Both the A1 Mini and the Anycubic Kobra 3 V2 were sent to me for the purpose of making videos like this. Despite getting these printers for free, it doesn't change my opinion about them. Let's first talk about the similarities. Their build volumes, the speed, the quality, those are almost all matched in size, speed, and quality. The A1 and the A1 Mini launched the filament poop a little differently than the way that the Anycubic works. With the Anycubic, there's a magnet that it attaches to. And honestly, I don't know which one is really better. This is just a comparison, but I do like that the Anycubic only goes in once and comes out once. It doesn't need to go back and forth. Maybe that will save you a few months of wear and tear on the belts and everything. I don't know. Both of these printers have one of my favorite features, which is printing from your mobile device. If you're a beginner and you're just learning how to 3D print, you don't know what a slicer is and you don't know how to go in and add a model to a slicer, slice it, send it to your printer, or put it on an SD card or a USB stick, it's just kind of complicated. Most people know how to order products on Amazon or order an Uber or maybe order food to be delivered or something like that. And this is very similar. You choose what you want to print, you hit the print button, you choose your colors, and you're ready to go. Bambu Lab Anycubic, thank you for those features. Now let's talk about the pros of the Anycubic over the A1 and the A1 Mini. The biggest thing I noticed is the price. Right now, the Anycubic with the combo is about $170 cheaper than the A1 with the combo. And when you compare it to the A1 Mini, it's still cheaper by $20. But with the Anycubic combo, not only do you get a better filament feeding system, you're also getting a dryer and you're getting a bigger bed than the A1 Mini at a cheaper cost. That's pretty good. I don't have an A1 with me right now, so all my tests have been comparing this to the A1 Mini, which you could say isn't fair, but honestly, for the pricing still being cheaper than the A1 Mini, I think it's fine. But something else I noticed that is a pro to the Anycubic is the camera feed. I believe the frames per second are at least 15 frames, where when I watch any videos on the A1 Mini, it's like 0.25 frames per second. You get a picture, you wait a second or two, you get another picture, you wait a second or two. With the Anycubic Kobra, the live feed is much better. Speaking of the live feed, I like that the camera is modular and it's disconnected, which means I can 3D print a different mount that pulls it away from the bed to get me a better view of that bed. I don't like the camera placement on any of these printers, the A1, A1 Mini, or the Anycubic Kobra. It's from the side, it's a weird angle, I get why they do it, but I like that the Anycubic Kobra 3 V2 has that modular design, so I could print something different. The last pro I'll mention is the screen is a little bigger. I do like the touch screen on the A1 Mini a little more, except it's a little slower. I feel like the A1 Mini and the A1 have a more crisp display. But let's talk about the cons. I already mentioned this before, but the Anycubic Kobra always has its fans on. They're not terribly loud, but it's just something that's always in the back of my mind. I'm always hearing it running, and if I'm going to be away from the house or I won't be using the printer that day, I will turn it off. I have the A1 Mini and the H2D. Neither of those have fans running when they are just sitting idle, and I just leave them on all the time. The last con I'll mention is, although they have the mobile app, it doesn't have as many options available, and I believe that's because not as many people have uploaded models yet. Over time, that will get better, and that's how it was when Bambu Lab first launched their mobile app. So if given the choice, would I buy the Anycubic Kobra 3 V2 combo over the A1 or the A1 Mini? Well, before I answer that, I need you to like this video, and I hate asking for this, but we really need you to subscribe. When you do that, it really helps us out. It doesn't cost anything, so please subscribe, just click it. You don't have to worry about anything else. I now have way more stormtroopers than I need. If you can guess the printer that printed the best quality trooper, I will send you one of these, but hurry quick because I only have 5. And just a hint, I have mentioned that printer on this video. If you asked me 2 weeks ago, what is the best printer for the best price that's easiest for beginners, I would have said the A1 Mini. It's cheap, it's under $300. Well, sometimes it's under $300, you know, with tariffs and stuff. But right now it's under $300. If you get it with a combo, it's just under $300. With taxes, it's probably more. But that would have been my choice. Now that I've played with the Anycubic Kobra 3 V2, I would say buy the Anycubic Kobra, which is crazy because I love my A1 Mini, I love the H2D. If I had every one of Bambu Lab printers, I would love all of them. But for the price and the quality and what you're getting with the Anycubic printer and the Ace Pro, you've got to buy that one. It's so much cheaper, it still gives good quality, and that would be my recommendation. If you'd like to purchase the new Anycubic Kobra, I'll drop the link down below. That's it.